Hey everybody, I'm in Fort Worth, Texas at the Fort Worth Stockyards. It's where the West began. Fort Worth was originally founded as a frontier military post in 1849. Named after Mexican-American War General William Jenkins Worth, it was situated on the Trinity River and by the time of the Civil War had a population of around 6,000. After the Civil War, the Texas economy was a disaster. Cattle were so abundant, especially in South Texas, that the market was so depressed that cattle could only be sold for $1 a head. However, in the hungry and cattle-barren Northeast markets, cattle could go for up to $40 a head. The issue Texas ranchers faced was transportation. How could they get their cattle hundreds of miles to these in-demand markets? The answer was the railroads. The Kansas and Pacific Railway was completed in 1867. Which was the closest railhead for the Texas cattle ranchers. Soon after, Abilene, Kansas opened up a stockyards and invited the Texas cattlemen to sell their herds there. The result was the Chisholm Trail, a 1,000-mile-long highway for cattle that passed through Fort Worth. Cattle would bed near the current stockyards location and drink the water out of Marine Creek, which runs underneath Exchange Street today. It is estimated that over 1.5 million cattle were driven up the Chisholm Trail to Abilene. Additional cattle trails were developed as more towns and markets opened up to rival Abilene. Cattle drivers also had to drive their cattle further and further west as settlers threw up barbed wire to protect their lands from the herds. In 1876, the fortunes of Fort Worth changed forever when the Texas and Pacific Railway finally came to the city. A cattle boom saw the stockyards grow exponentially, and by the turn of the century, over 1 million cattle were bought and sold in Fort Worth a year. The Swift and Armour packing houses soon opened, and cattle, along with sheep and hogs, made Fort Worth the leading livestock center of the Southwest. Today, visiting the stockyards is like taking a trip back in time. The stockyards still host rodeos at the Cowtown Coliseum. The Livestock Exchange building is still the home of cattle auctions, although they are done virtually these days. Recently, some of the older horse and mule barns have been renovated to bring upscale shopping and entertainment to the area. But by far, the most popular attraction is the Fort Worth herd. Every day at 11:30 a.m. and 4 p.m., the Fort Worth herd is still driven down Exchange Street to the delight of thousands of tourists. Fort Worth is still known as Cowtown, and the Fort Worth Stockyards make sure that legacy endures. So come see the herd in historic Fort Worth. It's one of the best places in Texas.